how can we make a video so engaging that people can watch and enjoy? People would watch what they care about, but I'll say anybody who wants to start creating, do not obsess over.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Today on Creatorium, we have someone who's built a global platform from simple beginnings.
Named one of Africa's top 10 tech creators,
Fisayo sets the gold standard for clean, insightful, and global respected tech content.
with over 700,000 YouTube subscribers and millions of views.
Fisayo is proof that you don't need to wait for perfection.
I was interested in this thing since I was like 17. I did not have the means to do it then as a 17-year-old.
This conversation is about evolution.
But made 10 times more money.
What?
It's about being consistent when no one's watching.
Consistency is not really quantity even. It is the amount of feelings that you've created.
And what happens when you stay true to your style long enough to be seen on a global stage.
You have to start creating the kind of content you want to get paid for.
If there were 3 YouTube commandments you could give us to grow our own channel as we're starting out, what would you tell us?
The first thing is really. We were knocked off at some point and I was really going to quit making videos. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this thing. All of a sudden, we are getting this email that we want you to talk to the Secretary of State of the United States.
What does your creative process look like from idea to execution?
I would say, and that's
very valuable information that you shared. I feel like I just sat in a Fisayo masterclass. Fisayo, it's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's so good to have you.
It is.
So let's get right into the conversation. So you chose tech in an era where it wasn't exactly the most obvious successful path, where most early content creators in this part of the world chose lifestyle when they were starting out. But you chose tech from day one, even with 0 naira. What's up with that decision?
Yeah, I have this screenshot on my phone that has the hashtag YouTube Nigeria. And we all know that YouTube was the first one to really foster like the creative economy.
Yeah.
Started paying creators first. Well, the other platforms still don't pay creators. But YouTube fostered the creator economy. And in that hashtag, it was all makeup videos and Fisayo's face there.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like, it's on my phone. I didn't even know, like, I look at that screenshot now in my old iPhone 6 interface. And it was like, this is interesting. But I think for me, I was interested in this thing since I was like 17. I've always wanted to do tech, specifically mobile phones, apps, accessories, this consumer tech. I did not have the means to do it then as a 17-year-old Nigerian boy. But I did a video for the church one time. It was very bad, but it was nice. They liked it. But I look at it now and it was the worst thing ever. But it was good. It had like credits, end credits and everything. It was a short film.
It was a short film.
We'll call it a short film. So it was a video we did for church. And from then I was like, I want to do this thing. But I learned design. I had a job in social media and learned video production. And the job, everything just was like, the stars were aligning, so to speak. And then it made me ready for this, what I've always wanted to do, tech, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Were you 17 when we first met?
No. I was 17 when I wanted to start.
Yeah, I remember you were doing like those, you were trying to do those interview type videos.
Yes. Oh my God, we had one.
Yeah,
and
we did an interview
something
video.
happened to that video. I was trying to do something called like the Curious Creative and just like get into the minds of creatives. We eventually ended up doing something later on, but much later on. But I wasn't 17. I couldn't have started at 17, you know?
It's crazy. But working in such a specific niche so early when there weren't really other people doing all of that, did you feel like you were ahead of your time? Is it one of those things that makes sense looking backwards, or in the moment, how did you feel? We discovered that a lot of you who watch and enjoy these videos are not subscribed to the channel. We never want you to miss another one of our videos, and we want more people like you to be able to find them. So please subscribe.
I wouldn't say I felt like I was ahead of my time. I would say I like to read, and I just really love, well, not really love, like it was drummed into me because my uncle would say like, no matter what you do, never be idle. So it became such a habit that if I'm idle, I probably will fall sick. So I fill in the time by like studying, maybe watching a documentary, reading, taking a course or something. And in all of these readings, I ended up loving this book called Mastery by Robert Greene. And I've probably listened to the audio version like 16 times now. I've also read the book. And in that, it was like, first of all, let the work speak for you. Come into any new industry as if you don't know anything about the space. Drop every assumption you have. Come into the space with a blank slate and be willing to learn as much as possible. So I was really watching the makeup videos that Dima Ome was doing and what CCME was doing and what Olori Supergirl was doing. I would go to the events and I would just try and learn as much as possible because they were doing it already and I was new to this. So I learned a lot from them. Like how they would put the makeup to the camera and there's the bokeh effects and that would be the thing in focus and everything else would be blurry. That was, from there. I would say I was intentional, to be honest. I really wanted to do this specifically, but how to go about it was another thing. The other thing I would say is everybody who wants to come into a space, an industry, they've seen some indicators of success. They've seen people who have done well in this space and they're like, maybe I want to be like this guy or better than this guy. And they come in and there's nothing wrong with that. It makes sense to see someone that has walked this path. So for me, it was like Marques Brownlee, MKBHD. They had a group called Team Crispy. So these guys were making videos, tech videos with very high-end cameras, 4K. And I was like, I want to do something like this. And the first video I made, I was forming some stupid accents. I was like trying to sound like who I wasn't and do not do that. That was like, the initial phase. And quickly I realized that, you just have to be yourself to do this. And we ended up doing a couple of videos. It wasn't successful. At least the first 6 months were horrible because it was dry and empty. And I reached out to someone at Techno and they were like, we didn't know that you were in Nigeria or something like that. And it felt like, does it mean that we cannot produce quality stuff here?
Right.
But it was very good because they trusted me immediately. The other thing was, the thing I read was if you want to create the kind of content that you want to get paid for, you have to start creating the kind of content you want to get paid for already. So let the brands imagine themselves in what you have done.
Yeah.
So I was already making the kind of content that it would be easy for Techno to imagine that, just give him this thing. He would do the same thing he did that time. Yeah. So that was it for me. And this was 8 years ago. Yeah. So, yeah.
There are two very critical things that you shared that I think are very powerful. One is the idea that it's important to look even outside of your niche, right? To see what other people are doing. And you can find a lot of power in that because sometimes I feel like as creators, it's very easy to stick to your own space. You're like, I'm only inspired by the people in my space. And you don't realize how much more that you can pick up when you look across. And I think, for me, the second thing is just the power of creating, putting your creation out there and then, realizing that other people will come in contact with what you've already created. I always say to young people who I call aspiring creators because they've created in their minds, but they haven't actually birthed anything. I'm like, if you're thinking, I want to work with HarperCollins, I want one day HarperCollins is going to pick up one of my books. It's actually smarter to write a book that you've published, even if it hasn't gone far, because when you're in the airport one day and the CEO of HarperCollins is sitting right beside you, it doesn't make sense to show him an idea.
It's the thing about
it doesn't make sense. You have to show him that you've published something.
The thing about opportunities and being ready when they come. Yes. Because you already have something.
Yeah. Preparation meeting opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the
The interesting thing from everything he said, I didn't realize that you were inspired by those other lifestyle creators. I'm finding out for the first time because you would have thought, you make videos of tech. So if you had said MKBHD, I'm like,
that makes sense.
Yeah. But then you mentioned CCME and Dima. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. The broadness of the group that you learn from.
And there's this other creator, Kelechi Ngemena. She is very good with explaining how to use a camera. And she does lifestyle. And I watched a lot of her tutorials to even learn how to use the camera I got. So it was really that But I think then we were very few. And again, this is something that a lot of people would not want to admit, but I was really lucky to start making content at the time I started because we're not many. And I was able to grow it's difficult to grow a YouTube channel. I guess it's been almost 9 years, but I was very lucky, honestly, to start when I started and at least leverage and understand the resources that were available for me at the time.
And you were consistent. Listen,
yeah, I was.
I started making videos in 2009 on YouTube, right? And I must have made like 16 videos between 2009 and which I now have hidden everything, right? But they're on the back end. I must have made like 16 videos between 2009 and maybe 2012. But that consistency to say, you know what, like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going regardless, especially because, as you said, I felt like I was just so early. I couldn't find anything from this part of the world. So it was very difficult to stay encouraged on that journey and see what the possibilities were like. And I think you make a good point, even in what you're sharing, is there's the aspect where I feel like anyone who's creating now is actually very lucky.
Yes.
Because they have so many people to look at and watch and be inspired by, but learn from before you even start creating.
And grow, because there's now short form. Yeah. And short form is the easiest thing. Like all you need is a good hook. Keep us hooked in the first 5 seconds. While we're like on our phones like this, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And what will make me stop and watch this thing that you've made? Oh, you just 5 seconds, and then I'm spending 1 minute 30 seconds with you, and I click your profile, and I look for the next thing or the other things you've done and what you said about consistency is not really quantity even. It is the amount of feelings that you've created. Whenever I watch your videos, actually, I was going to use this as an example. You give me a certain type of feeling, and I want more of that, and that's consistency, because you make me feel the same way again and again and again. It's not really about how many
continuity or how many
made something. It's like, for instance, what we get in the comments when people watch a Fisayo Fosudo review is they get all the information they need. They're able to make a purchase decision because of this video. There's nothing, we covered all the bases or almost all the bases of this product or this thing that we're talking about. Or if it is the finance videos, for instance, we explain this concept so well. People are like, why didn't they teach in schools like this? And when I see those comments, I'm like, oh my God, you guys are just exaggerating.
That's powerful,
But I feel like we've got so much evidence of that it's true. Like, consistency is really how well people feel a certain way over and over again when they watch your videos. And it's anything, whether you're making comedy skits, I want to laugh. I will watch Talma's videos. I will just really actively go and seek out and watch, so that I just get that, and all the other like people who create comedy videos. And everybody has that thing that they're sort of giving. And it eventually comes down to attention. And that is kind of what we're trading.
You said something interesting about, the finance videos and people saying, I wish school was like this. Have you always been that good at translating information, or is that something you had to learn?
We had this thing in school where we had a group and they were like, oh, this lecturer doesn't give A's. But the people in my group, we got A's because of the presentation. Well, I will not attribute it to our presentation. They all did well. But like, we did a very good presentation. I didn't look at the slides. I prepared slides and I used like the remote to control. I knew where everything was. All I needed was just a little bit of some pointers. And we made a very, very good, very well animated presentation. And we explained the concept very well. I knew this before. Again, like, please, if you want to know anything, read. Like, it's so basic, but like, read stuff. Just read, learn about it.
It's all hidden in the books.
Yes. I just knew that to convey the thing you want to say, you have to present it in a certain way, in a certain format. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a payoff in the end. What is the point of this thing? And when are we going to get to the point? But in the beginning, you want to keep us engaged. And I knew this from school. So it was just really helpful. And we did the presentation and we got a standing ovation and it was cool. When it comes to like the finance videos and the comments that we get and people saying, I wish school was like this, it's still the same principles of how can we make a video so engaging that people can watch and enjoy the information we're giving, because it's boring stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is boring information. But people watch it, we're like teaching you that this is what the economy is saying, this is the heartbeat, this is everything, this is the vibe of this economy. And we're presenting it in, with very good animations, very good graphics, and all of that. Something I also obsess over is like the typography. It has to be right. And I'm a designer, so like all of those things just have to make sense visually. So I think all of those things combined really, really helped people just trust that the research is there, the visuals are there, everything is just solid, and you get the information.
Because you don't have a background in finance.
I studied economics. I have an economics degree.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
It was the easiest thing. It was like, oh, don't let this degree waste. Let's do.
I have a degree in economics that's wasting.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not.
In economics, so 3 of us.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This was not planned.
I know, it wasn't planned. But it's actually crazy. Yeah. So we have 3 economists sitting down here. I feel like we find finance is you have to really enjoy it in some way to consistently do it, you know, and to continue to do it. You have to really enjoy it in some way.
Yeah. So, Fisayo, there's a lot of people who want to create, but because in their heads, they are perfectionists. I've collaborated with you. I know that you're a perfectionist, even to a fault. Like, things have to be a certain way. And no matter what stage you've been at, you've always been particular about quality. How did you find a way to continue to create and maintain a high standard, even with minimal resources?
This thing about the quality, I think maybe I would say, like, to a certain extent, it's not exactly the most ideal way to go. We are obsessed with quality because we just want to obsess with over quality, honestly. There's no payoff, there's no upside. Well, I'll say today there's no upside. There's the feeling that we want to evoke from the people that watch our videos is we want you to think of every video we do as very, very well done videos. They are very well researched. We have a team, we have somebody on the team that does the research and writes, and then we go over it. We obsess over all the details, make sure that we're correct, and the information is valuable to you, because there's no point putting anything out there that is not useful to anybody watching. That is one thing. And the other thing is the presentation of it. I think, just like I mentioned, short form is here. Everybody has a camera in their pocket now. Technology has evolved so well that you can whip out your phone and tell a story. As far as you have something valuable to share, as far as somebody else, this thing we're doing is like building a tribe in a way. Building this community where we're creating platforms that people will follow us and sort of know what we like, or understand where we're coming from, or understand what we're trying to share. And that's kind of, again, like I said, we're sort of trading attention, if you will. If you look at that, the requirements, like what people need is really, really just the information. How you do it can now be the branding, the personality, and it can be with just simple cuts and a subtitle, or it can be the most production. For us, we chose the latter, and sometimes we do mix it up and just create something very, very, with very little. But I'll say anybody who wants to start this thing, who wants to start creating, do not obsess over whether you should use a camera or something. You have a phone that can take good video. Maybe invest in a mic, Sha. Audio is important. Because trust me, you do not want to do bad audio. People can stand a bad video, but nobody is going to stand a bad audio. Maybe invest in a mic, maybe some lighting, if you will, or maybe you can go outside. But what really,
front
really,
of the window.
You. But what really matters is the thing you are saying. Above everything is the thing. And like I said, consistency is consistency of feeling. You now create all of these things and you sort of gather these feelings, like all these people that have these feelings towards what you're doing, and then they now become your tribe.
Your tribe, yes.
The people that look forward to the next thing. Someone stopped me. I was just in the mall, and this guy, an older man, is like, probably like my dad's age, and he was like, I've been watching your finance videos, and they're very good. Why did you stop? And we did stop. We stopped making finance videos. Finance videos make money, but we're not doing it because of money. if there's nothing to say, I would not say anything. Like, it has to make sense for people. And he started telling me specific things I did in videos. Like, he watched this video where I said this thing. And I'm like, you truly don't even know who is watching this thing.
My dad watches your videos.
Yeah. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. The day he saw the video we did together, he's like, this guy is your friend? Tell him I watch his videos.
Yeah, because they also broadcast them on the platforms,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah, on the messaging platforms.
Yeah, we had a video. This why is everything so expensive? And my mom's office, someone from my mom's office was like, "Oh, this thing he said is actually true." We spoke to somebody in the government, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is weird." Like, we had a conversation with CBN too about something, and it was like, okay, we did an interview with the deputy governor of CBN, so that was amazing because. They reached out, and it was because they watched something. And they're like, and the deputy governor was like, "Oh, I know you have an economics degree." And I'm like, not only did you watch the video, you actually knew that I had an economics degree. And if it made sense, because these are the people that are having conversations or like doing stuff policy in this economy, and we get to now speak to them.
Yeah.
And that is fascinating. I think that, again, like I'm lucky, and this is like a dream job. It's not something that people can engineer, so to speak. But what really matters is still the thing you are saying, the content. How are you making people care or feel this?
I think you're lucky, but I think that you can also engineer it. And I think, yes, it's important to just sort of be able to give credence to the fact that you put in the effort, you worked, you think, you research, you're developing, you've built the skill to be able to create what you're creating. Yeah. So there is a luck factor in life in general, but there's also the fact that there's a foundation for the luck to work with. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like the luck has basically met you at the point where you are doing something. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about obviously your evolution throughout your journey. Now, in the process of that slow building, what did you learn about like patience and trusting your journey?
So we've never had a viral video, and it's something I've said before. We've never had a viral video or a video that we did super like amazing numbers. We've had a lot of viral unboxing videos. We unboxed a lot of new tech. Those get like 20 million views. 1 million views, short form. Yeah. According to the algorithm, there's no words being spoken. Anybody, anywhere in the world can watch it. Once you have English words in a video, it's locked into the regions that can understand English. If you have Spanish words in a video, to be shown to Spanish audiences. But this is an unboxing video, it's just like sounds that we make, and anybody, those. I think I was very surprised in the beginning, but I understood. We would unbox like the glasses, this glasses that that can record, and I think that did like 20 million views and like 10 million views somewhere else and then 10 million views somewhere else. I'm like, this is disgusting because we spent so much time sitting down and crafting and researching and doing something, and like 60,000. Right. And then you just unbox something and it's like 20 million. I'm like, But then again, that's just the, but for me, it's like, I think I'm also very grateful that I never really got to experience like sudden growth, because that has helped me know that times can be turbulent. Yeah. And we just really have to put our best foot forward. I don't take anything for granted, and I'm able to make the kind of videos that I want to make. Because like I said, if we don't have anything to say, there's really no point in saying it. It has to be useful for one person or someone, or maybe me. It has to be useful. And when we share it, we know that somebody will benefit from this video, regardless of what's this.
So there's value in some form, whatever that value is.
Like I said, it's almost 9 years. It will be 9 years in November, I think, that we'll be making videos. The first 4 years was tech, like smartphone reviews, just talking about phones. And it was in like the 5th year we brought in like the finance elements. Like I said, finance videos, they do well. They make more money because finance ads, typically, people spend more on those. Well, the goal for me was, let's do something about like personal finance, the Nigerian economy. You have this economics degree. Let it be useful somehow. And it was me explaining the economy, like nice graphics and just interesting stuff, or personal finance, or my own journey to how much I made, or like those types of things. And people really, really resonated with it. We did this video where, because I started out as a designer, we did a video where I talked about my journey as a designer and how I was able to save money. And I think we probably got like over like 10,000 people to click on a link that we put there. And it wasn't sponsored. And it was like, wow, this is an opportunity there. And that was something that we learned. And it was, people would watch what they care about. And for many Nigerians, it was how to better their situation financially or whatever. And we did that for like 2 years, and we stopped because I think there was nothing else to say again. There's only so much you can say. But the thing is, everything that we are going to say, we've thought about it, and it was like mulled over, cared about, and we now share. Eventually, this ended up becoming something where we now did the interview series. We started something like that before, like you mentioned, and we couldn't even keep up with it. And then we did the interview series, and we got some amazing guests, and all of a sudden, we are getting this email that we want you to talk to the Secretary of State of the United States. And it was very confusing, to be honest.
Did you think it was a scam email?
No, definitely not. If you get an email from the US government, it's us.gov.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just...
You're like, why me?
Yeah, exactly.
You have a why me moment.
You know, when he came, he spoke to the president, he spoke to Channels TV, he spoke to one other media, and then he spoke to me. And then it's like, okay. And, you know, we did the video, and it was really cool. It was about technology and, you know, the Nigeria-US relations for so many reasons, for so many things that have happened. I think it's not, you know, maybe it's not a big deal, but maybe it's a big deal. For me, it was a wake-up call that if you are creating something of value and people are enjoying it, you really don't know where this is going to go. Yeah. There's so many parts. But everything is about like the decisions that you make. Everything is, the next thing will be because of a decision you made sometime that you didn't even know you made. But like the only thing we can really, really control is what we do now. Cannot change anything that's happened before. But the only thing we have power over is what we do today. Because what we do today is the thing that will lead us to wherever it is. But there's a decision that you're making that will determine something else that you probably don't even know that's coming.
Yeah. There's usually a formula, I feel. Like when you look at people who have met opportunity like this, and in your case, it's multiple things, right? So we've talked about the fact that obviously you're always learning, you're always in a learner stance, which means that you probably experiment more. And the more that you experiment, the more likely you are to win. But that also you value your audience, and you also value quality. Because it's very easy to be doing well in your space and then reduce quality, because either way, as you said, it's not a make or break situation. Like if you did. But I wanted you to share about, have you ever had a moment where you had to be like a little bit scrappy with your production because maybe you needed to meet a deadline or like there was something that a video you needed to create and you were like, you know what? We can't go.
It has happened multiple times, especially when I travel and we cannot possibly meet the deadline, or when we now have too many products because we have used like, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's over 150 phones that we've used. Oh my God. And yes, it's disgusting. And I don't think anybody should use that many phones. But sometimes it just gets overwhelming, and it has happened before that we've even made a mistake. We did this video where we made a mistake, and I think the brand had a different name for the product locally versus internationally. And we were doing the research for the international market thinking it was the same. And people bought the product. Sadly, I feel like, okay, I realized that I'm an influencer at some point. Like if I say, okay, this is a product, people will actually buy it. And it's so weird, like people actually listen to me. I'm sorry. I feel like a child now. But like, yeah, people listen to what I say and they're like, oh, maybe I'll buy this thing because Fisayo said so. And then in the end,
like Fisayo made me do it.
Yes. And this happens a lot. Like I go to events and be like, oh, I bought this phone because of you. I bought this one. And this happens a lot. So thank you guys. I would also this was horrible because people bought this product thinking it was one thing and it wasn't. It was a completely different thing and we had to take the video down. It was really horrible. It was so painful. And it's happened more than once, but every time, the other times at least was not as bad as this one. Yeah. So for us to make a good video, we really have to spend time using the product. Yeah. And we've had to now delay projects because it doesn't make sense to make something when we haven't used it. Yeah. Yeah. We would be lying in that case. Yeah. So that's not...
You need to protect your integrity.
Yes, exactly. So we don't want to do that. And then, we have to say it the way it is. We use this approach of showing and not just telling. You'll see people, well, at least not anymore, I think. But before, creators would say something. There's nothing visual to back it up. Well, I do not want to take that approach. If there's something wrong, I will show, I would test, and I will show it. I will just try and record it in the most scrappy way as possible. I say, see guys, this is, the problem with this thing. And if there's no evidence, if we say it, it's just, what if they sue us? Or what if they say that he's wrong? Oh, that's not possible. It can never happen. But no, this is evidence. There was a time we did a review. We charged this product, and we're like, oh no, the product performs better than this your test. We did multiple tests across. It wasn't the same, so we had to take it out because there's no point. We cannot lie and say that this is what it does. But there's been times when we had to not produce the way we would love to. It happens, but
I love that integrity is part of your process. That's actually difficult for a lot of people to to focus on. Is that do you think that's just a personal value that you have?
I don't know. I just don't want to be, I just have to say the correct thing. I think if I know that somebody's going to stop me at an event, I say I bought this product.
Right. Responsibility and accountability.
Exactly. And we will make sure that we cover all the bases and before you buy this thing, this is what you should know. We don't think that this is the very best in this place. Sometimes we cannot use very harsh language. Yeah. But we're just that's where showing now comes in. Oh, see, can you see? Yeah. This is it. Yeah. We don't lie. This is what. Yeah.
That definitely builds trust. Now I wanted you to speak to a creator who is sitting down watching this and saying to themselves, I don't have the tools to be able to, I'm listening to Fisayo saying all these things, but I don't have the tools. I don't feel like I have, what is necessary to move me to the next level, right? What would you say to someone who's in that headspace?
There's the kind of content you want to make. Today we have this widespread, easy to access type of content, which is short form. It is usually the best way to start because there is massive opportunity for growth. What you need to understand is maybe what is the niche? What is the thing I want to create about that I can talk about for as long as possible and not get tired of talking about it? For me, it was technology and eventually became multiple things and still technology, actually. But for you, it can be something else. It can be sewing. It can be fashion, it can be anything. There's one thing that is true. We as a people, we are Nigerians. If you look deeper now, there's differences. There's you might be Yoruba, you might be Igbo, you might be Hausa, whatever. But the main thing is we are all Nigerians. And that's where the power of a collective comes in. Now, you are creating something, you'll be happy to know that there's a tribe for you. There's a group of people that actually like this thing that you like, people that are like you. And with that, you can now create this, I call it creative combination. Can you actually learn about this thing? If it is something that requires people to learn, maybe if it is comedy, can you actually be good at comedy? Or can you be at least decent enough? And you don't have to be an expert because I'm not an expert and we are both learning. You, the creator, and the audience, both learning in this. How can you be good enough that you can share your experience with your audience so that you guys can grow together, go on this journey together of we're learning here, we're exploring the world together here. Doing all of that, what really matters is the thing you're making. Now you may feel like you don't have the resources or you don't have the right cameras or whatever. If you have a phone, you are halfway there. And if it is, if it's content you want to make, if it's a video or visual content, if you're not writing or if you're not doing a podcast maybe, probably the only thing I'll say you should get is a good microphone. Get a good microphone. But figure out the thing you want to do, you want to talk about first. That is the most important thing. Figure out what that is and how you want to go about it. And look at other people that are doing it. It doesn't have to be in the same niche. It can be in any niche. Just look at what other people are doing and how something you can pick from. You can take directly from something, but it doesn't have to be obvious. You can be inspired by a lot of things. So yeah, the main thing is really the content. Everything else is, it helps the content get seen. And if you have a phone, good lighting maybe, have a mic.
Besides mic.
I am really particular about this. Yeah. So get a good microphone. Because sometimes you might need to be far away from your phone and your phone only has a speaker under or above, depending. Some phones have 3 mics, 2. Most phones have 1 mic and it's usually under. Because when you're making a phone call, the mic is there. So get a mic. And you can keep your phone far away. But the main thing is really the content. And if you have a phone, you can make these videos. Editing is something that is, very interesting. There's apps like CapCut. Instagram just made edits. You can learn these tools. You only need 2 hours to actually know how to use them. And 2 hours and a dream to know how to edit. Make sure if you want to caption your videos, subtitles. People watch videos silently sometimes. You might be in a public place, you don't want to play the sound in the video, you might just want to read, look at the person's lips moving, and look at the subtitles. Many people watch videos that way, believe it or not. So maybe you want to know how to caption. It would help if you have a script. It doesn't have to be the case, but it will really, really help. What I have found is that having a script saves me mountains of time. I don't have to do the same thing over and over again. I just do it once and it's done. That's pretty much it. And just publish. And when you publish, you want to actually now learn and engage with the comments or the people who are watching it. The way the algorithm works is it shows it to a small group of people. And if those small group of people maybe above average, what you've done, it then shows it to a bigger group of people and then a bigger group of people. But it will not be viral instantly. But the more you do it, you will now create a bunch of videos. And depending on how you do it, you now create a certain type of feeling towards what you're doing. If you make people care enough, they will now have a feeling of what you're doing. And the more you do it, that is what consistency is. The consistency of the feeling that you've put out there. And people can kind of feel like they know you at some point, based on your content. And then you can now form a tribe. And that is amazing.
That's very valuable information that you shared. I feel like I just sat in a Fisayo masterclass.
Fisayo, thank you for everything you shared with and for creators. Something you said stood out to me. Just seeing it as we're learning together. But I wanted to ask you, do you ever look back on your old videos to just see how far you've come? Based on everything you said about learning in the process, introducing different things, do you ever go back? And when you do, how does it make you feel?
I think I look back and cringe.
You cringe.
Because they were, especially the first one, oh my God, I was forming some horrible accent. I listened to it, I was like, who is this guy? This is so horrible. It was an Apple Watch video. Oh God, it's so bad. And the video
it's
is
not
there.
that bad.
No, please watch the video. But
I've watched it. No, I've actually watched it.
No, it's bad.
Because I actually started watching your videos from when you first started.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's bad. I genuinely think it's very bad. But I'm leaving it there because I can reference it as an example and knock that guy. That's sorry, Fisayo from the past. But yeah, I think something else I also do is I do look back, and there was a period that we were very, 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 very consistent with the videos. We're not as consistent as much now because we're doing a lot. We're now doing more investing and more project-based stuff. But I look at those moments of deep and intense work that we did. I'm just so grateful because we're able to make as much content as possible. And we're very, very efficient. I mean, we are efficient now, but like we started building this efficiency. And something I really learned was this is not a linear journey. We were knocked off at some point, and I was really going to quit making videos. But I'm just grateful that I got to at least try again and just maybe let's try this new thing out or let's experiment. The first finance video we did, we had the video for 6 months. We never did anything about it. It was written, but nothing was done to it. And then on the 6th month, which was the beginning of the year, I just said, if I'm going to quit, I might as well just do something else. And it was just like experiment with this thing. And the video did well. It had almost the same views as our like tech videos we get, but made about 10 times more money.
What?
Yes. And that was because of the niche.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because of money, but like at that point it was like, I did another one and then it made a similar amount. And I was like, oh wow. It seems, first of all, people care about this thing enough and then it pays well. Oh wow, that's cool. And then we did like 20 something videos that year. In that year we made more than we made in 4 years combined. We did the next year and then we stopped because, again, like I said, I'm not doing this because of money, but if there's nothing to say, there's no point saying anything. You just become the guy that is just like, they will know that you're milking this thing for money and it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm just super grateful that we did not stop. We did not quit at that time.
So that was a moment when you actually were going to quit?
Yes, that was the moment. I remember I was in Dubai. I made the video in Dubai and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this thing. And
what do you think triggered that though?
It wasn't worth it. Like I had 100,000 subscribers after that 4 years. That year alone, we had 100,000 more subscribers. And that time it was like the value we were getting from the videos wasn't equivalent to the work
that was being put in.
The videos were already very costly. I have this motion control slider that I use to shoot. So whenever we program the shots. We program the shots from this point to this point, and then I use the phone or the tablet to like point, and then the thing goes that way. I don't know anybody that was doing it at the time. When I had it, it was like filmmakers or like production companies that had this. I got the slider, I got the head module, I got the focus, I got the laser, and it was like using all of this like tech to shoot, and it was so exciting. But we put out the video and it's like nobody just cares. And this was 4 years in, and it kept being that way, and then there was like COVID. And I was just like, oh, I feel like maybe is this thing even worth it? You know, but like I'm so glad that
you stayed.
That I stayed, honestly.
That's actually amazing. Yeah. I noticed you use the word "we" a lot.
Oh, well, myself and the team. Like, I'm so proud of the team because when anybody joins the team, the first thing I do, at least in a creative capacity, take a typography course. They know, and I tell them, I force them to take a typography course because there's something about ordering. There's this thing that I saw somewhere, and I like to say that we're all in sales now. Everything we're doing, I have a personal brand, Fisayo, Fosudo. You have a personal brand, you have a personal brand. And many people here as well. Everything we're doing is kind of like in line with this. And we're going to, at some point, have to communicate something. Typography is involved at some point because it's visual and we're like telling a story and we're like saying this thing. If you have good typography, I mean, it's not like the most amazing thing, but it's just one less thing for your audience to worry about. Like, oh, they're in safe hands with this particular thing. It's not super important too, but...
No, it is important.
Yeah, it's not super important. But it's just one extra... It's like icing on a cake, essentially. So the first thing I do is, you guys take a typography course in the team. At least I try to encourage them to read. You know, you guys, like learn something. And now everybody on the team, they are learning something. Like they are always taking one course or just improving one skill or like trying their hands out on something. And everybody on the team is like really, really good at that. So I'm just really grateful.
Yeah. So everything that people see online that says Fisayo, Fosudo, it takes a village.
Yes, it does, actually. It does. Especially, there's this video we did, Why Everything is So Expensive. That video was 1 month worth of work.
Wow.
Yeah. It was animation, writing, rewriting, showing it to people like other economists and saying like, guys, what do we think of this? and they're like, oh, you cannot say that. This makes sense. This doesn't make sense. So we'll take stuff out. We'll change some things. And, we have a researcher as well and all of these things. So it takes a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's
that extra 2% can make the difference, right? Like you're talking about research, you're talking about typography. Obviously, I work in the brand space. And when you were saying typography, I was like, I love teaching about this, right? Because one of the things I say to people is your typography, right, is communicating a message. You can use typography to shout. You can use it to communicate sadness.
Yes.
You can use it to communicate excitement. Like there's just so much that goes in. And the people who created these things, they didn't pull it out from nowhere. Like there was actually a process that went into this. It was intentional to say, this is what these things mean. And I think when you take time out as a creator to say like, yeah, there's the front-facing aspect of what I'm doing, right? There's my skill, and then there's like, my ability to communicate and my ability to connect with people, right? You will succeed. But then when you do the extra 2% that a lot of people are not doing, I think it 10x's your journey.
Yeah. And let's talk about some other 2% that you're doing. When I first met you, you seemed quiet, observant, definitely introverted,
You think I'm not quiet?
Well,
Observant.
We need to talk about that.
Well, we're going to talk about, you seemed that way, but I've based on how you seem that way, I've still seen you go ahead to speak on global stages. What informs that shift? Is it that we think you're quiet, but this is who you've always been and you've come into who you really are? Or have you had to do some work to come out of yourself to be that person?
I'm a bit sad that I said I seemed. I'm sorry. Okay.
You've worked through it.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, the truth of the matter is that shyness will not it will not pay your bills. Like, if you are shy and you are scared or whatever, it will just not get you, sadly, in the right place.
Yeah.
You can have skill, you can be very talented. There's this thing of, and so I'll probably call it a mistake I made, it is very good to let your work speak for you. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you have to actually speak.
Yeah.
You have to really, really sell yourself and be like, you know what, you can actually do this thing. This is the third time I'm saying this today. It's like, we are sort of in the business of trading attention. And they call it the attention economy or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you're working with a brand, the brand is paying you because you are able to get their product seen by a large number of people. Or if you're making money on somewhere like YouTube, you get paid because your video had a lot of views. The more views you get, the more money your video makes. This is my job. I have people that I pay salaries to every month for this. In all of this, it's like you have to also be able to champion your storytelling or the thing that you're doing to let people know that you are the one, sort of like you are the authority also. And it's a good thing that I found reading early. Because I found reading, I knew that to become a master, so to speak, in your field, you have to undergo something like creative combination or deep understanding. The creative combination is you are good at one thing, good at another thing, you combine it, you create something new. New, in quotes, because like people always say, nothing new under the sun. But really, there's new things under the sun. If you think of like NVIDIA, like chips and chipsets and all these things, they are literally lithography. You should check out this company. I can't remember what they're called now. That is in Europe. They are the ones that make the lithography machines for, I can't remember their name now, but they are like huge and they are quiet. But they are the new things under the sun. Everything else, I'm kidding. But for real, like creative combination is you understanding being skilled as one thing, being skilled as another thing, combining them to make something new, or understanding something so deeply, like you find a niche or a place that nobody else is talking about, or you figuring out, like innovating sort of out of that thing and becoming the authority in that thing. And this is a very fast-paced industry. I cannot claim to be an authority in something or in certain things, but we have definitely done a lot of things that have regarded us as the authority in this space. And we're able to leverage that to communicate, to create something for maybe brands, for our audience. And that has happened like over the course of this almost 9 years. So you have to be able to communicate your value. If not, nobody would do it for you. And if you're building a personal brand, you have to show up. A business brand, the logo does some work, the staff in the team, they do some work. Everything is under some corporate. It's not the owner that comes up first.
Right.
It's the brand that comes first. And a group of people that make this brand do these things.
Yeah.
But a personal brand, it is you. And that's why I review all the scripts. I put my own take on something. It has to just be through me. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more work because it is your life is sort of like that's fine with this. But you can also leverage some of the principles of a business brand into this space. And a lot of it is communications and how you are able to tell your story. We all know Pepsi, we know Apple, we know all these people. We know their journey, we know their story, we know everything that they've done, all the lore of the company, the story, and you want to be able to create that for your own. And this is a valuable thing. Like it's the world we live in, and it is something that commands attention and, let's face it, money.
So in that case, do you feel like when you step in front of the camera, you're literally splitting up and saying there's Fisayo's personality, there's who I am as an individual, but there's who I need to be as part of the brand.
All the time. Like this is my work clothes. I have other clothes that I wear, but everybody thinks that, this thing is glued to him.
Right.
But yes, I actually do wear turtlenecks on everything. If I'm ever going to be photographed or filmed, I will wear a turtleneck because it is my brand, so to speak. And it's very convenient. And I'm able to wear it to at least have the uniformity, so to speak, in the videos. So, and it became a style. People are like, that guy that wears a turtleneck, or he says, without further ado, or something. So, those were...
But were there like certain steps that you feel like you had to take in order to become this person who's now practicing extroversion with what?
I took a course on personal brand.
You did?
Yes. I'm so sorry. I feel like I take a course on everything.
It shows that you're committed to lifelong learning. Yeah. And I think you can never lose if you're in a position where you tell yourself, like, I'm always going to take that learner stance and I'm going to keep growing.
I think the word is, the moment you start to believe that you know everything, your mind starts to decay. You cannot feel like you know everything. So I know that there's so many things I don't know, and I'm willing to learn. And I cannot assume anything. I would rather learn first.
So let's go back to those steps, because I know that there's definitely someone watching this who's like, I'm introverted. I don't know that I can speak like him. I don't know that I can grow into this person. So I just want you to share like some of the things that you did. So you talked about taking a course. Were there other things that you...
Last year, I made a post and I asked people, if you're a creator, an aspiring creator, tell me what your problems are. And I put a link in the bio. And I think we got about, I don't remember the number, I think it was up to 600-ish people that filled. And in there I had questions like, tell me what your fears are, what you are concerned about, what you would like to learn about content. And I did a one-on-one call with 50 people.
Oh, wow.
For free.
Yeah.
I didn't ask them for anything. I was like, let me just hear from you guys. And I did an Excel sheet and I added some AI there, but I just tried to understand what were the major problems that people were facing. And these one-on-one calls with these guys, people are afraid of being in front of the camera, afraid of actually talking and expressing themselves because they are afraid of being embarrassed. But the truth is, nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody actually cares. People will forget about the thing after a while. But what you need to ask yourself is, why am I even doing this in the first place? And where do I want to see myself in XYZ years? Is this something that I want to be known for? If you have yes answers to a lot of these things, the next step will just be, this is something that I know that I have to probably endure. I will not be good at it in the beginning. But for sure, if you try something, you will become better at it. it may not work 100%, but after a while, if it doesn't work, you will learn something, or you'll have something that you can use to move to something else, or like an orthogonal industry or something adjacent, something alongside it. But there is no other way to do this than to try. You just have to try. And when it comes to like the personal branding, like learning from this, we're trying to work on something. Those calls I made, we documented so much. And I'm thinking maybe I should just make a series of videos and just share my answers to these questions. The thing I really, really learned was you should really come into a space, drop every assumption, and be willing to learn. There's something that you will gain from learning about the space you're in. This way, I think how I would like to think of it is, if I'm coming into a space and I feel like I'm experienced in this, I'm experienced in that, and I know everything and I don't want to learn, you would create stuff, but you will find out that you might be saying the correct things, but you'll be doing the worst possible, wrongest things, and you'll be wondering why. How about you take a step back and attend those conferences, or look at the people that are doing stuff in the space and figuring out how did they get here? How did they do this thing that they're doing? Understanding their journey and following along, watching the stuff they've done, making notes. And then you can probably do like a guesstimate and see, why did this person do this thing? Why did they say this thing this way? Learn from as many of these people as possible. Learn first. And then when you now come into this space, you really want to bring your own spin on it. And this is where your own story comes in. We are all very different. Everybody has their own unique way of saying things or unique view of the world. What is your own unique view of the world? Some people might still struggle, like, okay, I don't necessarily know. Some people have even said they don't know if there's a niche they want to explore. They just want to make content, but they don't know what they want to make content about. Yeah. The truth is, people see people doing stuff and they just like what they like, what those people have. Yeah. And it is completely valid. Like I said, I saw Marcus Brownlee, I saw all these guys. I really wanted to do that level of content, and there's nothing wrong with it. Figure out what those things are, understand why they're probably making certain decisions, and take note of those. Your own unique spin on it is what will now change this way. For me, it was saying without further ado. And we actually have a trademark of the spelling of further ado. And wearing a turtleneck, or just, I think they call it the visual cues or the audio cues or verbal cues. These are things that people can now remember you for. They're like subtle things. It's like, I don't know, which brand has a slogan? Taste the difference is what's Coke. Is it Coke?
Yes, Coke.
It's Coke. So it's something like that. It's like you would know. Your slogan. Your slogan. And that is also another thing. It's a very minor thing. But the main thing is, how can you bring your own self to all the learnings that you have sort of acquired? That's one of the major things I found. And the rest was maybe having a logo, like a personal logo. It's not important, but it can help. Having a set time that you want to publish, having the sets, the branding, the color scheme, all of those other things. All of those other things are like add-ons. They are very important because they are the things people would see and remember you for.
And it's a full experience, right? When you have the different elements.
The main thing is the bunch of learnings that you're able to do before you come into the space. Knowing that you will still have a lot to learn when you're in this journey, by the way, because you cannot assume that you're an expert. The thing I found is that people who assume they're the experts, I mean, they are experts, like there are some people that are the experts. But in the end, if you're like building this personal brand, we don't expect you to know everything immediately, like in the beginning. Many people who start are also very young. We don't expect you to know everything. But let us know that we're on this journey together. You can, again, learn how you bring your own unique personality to it. You can say things in a certain way. Some people use a fork and put their mic on different things. Like it's just those are like visual cues as well, like things that people remember.
It's unique to you, and like people connect to specific things.
All of those little things, but your own unique take on what sort of already exists. And then the last thing is ignoring everybody. it's like you now know all these things, but just ignore everybody. Forget anything that anybody's saying. Trust me, this is something I've had to learn the hard way many times, and I feel like I still learn this. You might have an idea, and everybody else says trash, but you had this idea, and you're like, you now start to doubt yourself, like, is this actually not good? Yeah. But it turns out that you might actually do this thing, and it might be the best thing, and everybody skips. They didn't get the idea, so you want to actually pursue those ideas that people, even if they might think is rubbish.
You have to trust your gut on that one.
Yes, exactly.
Like in those moments.
I think that's like the last thing.
Be honest. Do you ever have moments now where you turn on the camera, right, and you're nervous?
Yes, I do. Like, especially when I'm in a new environment. We just did this thing in San Francisco, and
the Delta one?
No. It was Visa.
Right.
We're supposed to do something on payments. And just being there, I don't fit in. I'm like a creator, and everybody's like, oh, publisher, Forbes, or and then there's me, the Fisayo, YouTuber. But I guess I was able to like at least talk to people. Everybody's like an investment, or like payments, or like this have like they're well put together, and then there's just like this random dude from Lagos, Nigeria. It's still a learning experience for me, but I think I'm maybe more confident now, and I know that this is weird. During the event, I was feeling this, and then I was like, oh wait, I have a YouTube channel now. I have subscribers. Let me just show them like, oh, this is me. I have let me brag small. I say, and they're like, oh wow, that's so nice. And they just come and then we talk. So we're able to do some interviews, and those will publish those. We haven't published those yet, but those will still come up. So.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. What does your creative process look like from idea to execution? So at this time,
it depends on what it is or what we're talking about. Like if it is tech, we have to use the thing. We have to understand the product. And it's not just me. It's myself, the team who would use it. There's somebody on the team that specifically charges the phone and drains the phone. So like she helps with like, she charges, she drains, she documents every single percentage of charging. And it's a very minute thing. It's not like, it's small, but it is important for me because if I'm watching a video on a product that I want to buy, I feel like I would want to know certain things, like specifically like how much time would it take me to charge my phone to 100%, depending on the watts, the power and whatever. So we test as much as possible. Sometimes it might take 3 days, sometimes it might take a week to test. We take pictures, we do all of those things. Sometimes it might even take a day to do. But we never ever ignore testing. And then we now start writing. So we test, we write, we create what you call short lists. So a list of everything we want to be visually, to appear in the video. And once we do all of those, we film. And this is why I said scripting is crucial. If you have everything documented, you film once. But if you don't, you film, but you make some mistakes and then you
It's not efficient.
It's not, yeah. And it doesn't work for everybody. Some people just need cards or like punch,
cue cards.
Cue cards, exactly. And then they can go off. But we have so much that we are doing. So we just, for efficiency, we actually try to get as much as possible out. So that's how we do like tech videos. For the finance videos and the economic stuff, we do a lot more research. And the last thing we want to be is wrong. We don't ever want to be wrong with something like that because now we really, really realize that a lot of people rely on the things that I say. So we try as much as possible to be very
as accurate as
thorough,
possible. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I show other economists, like, you guys, please help me look at this thing. Does it make sense? And people will call us out and say, this is trash. It doesn't make any sense. And then we'll go back to the drawing board and then we rewrite it. And then we change certain things and then we show it again. And oh yeah, this is much better now. Why do you think? So, and it's very subjective because one economist might think something and another economist thinks completely different.
Yeah.
So they then ask me, why do you think this way? I remember there was a very, very long time ago, I made a tweet about the price of fuel in Nigeria versus the price of fuel in another country. Never ever do that, by the way. It is a very touchy subject because what do you mean the cost of living?
Yeah.
You know, so you mean the cost of living in Nigeria versus the cost of living in like the UK and the price of fuel in Nigeria. No, don't ever even go there. But I did, and I was roasted for it. And then it's one of the economists that I usually ask, they're like, why did you say this? Why did you think this was necessary to say? And then I'm like, oh, I think this is why. I get you, but why? And it helps to sometimes. I said ignore everybody before, but sometimes you might just be going off the rails.
Yeah, especially because when you're making short form content or even long form content, you don't have enough time to contextualize. Yeah. Like nobody's going to come and say, oh, Fisayo, what did you mean by blah, blah, blah? Exactly. And then you can expatiate and explain, right? You have to literally
having like the second, for the finance and economic stuff, yes. Maybe for the like personal finance stuff, because it's like personal finance, I can do that. But we still have people who research and help to look at those things and just check that I'm not saying something off or wrong. And that typically takes longer. I know finance videos take at least 1 week or 2.
With so much happening in tech, how do you decide what's worth your time and focus and resources? I'm
now in a very interesting position where we do get sent a lot of things. What we talk about sometimes may not necessarily even be of our own accord, if you will. There's so many things I'm interested in, and if I am interested in it, I'll just buy the thing and talk about things. So like the glasses, the VR headsets, I really, really like those because I think wearables are the future. And I think we were having a conversation upstairs. I said I want to get like an Apple Watch and a Samsung Watch and just compare those as well. But for the most part, we do get sent a lot of products, and it's just easier that way. And we have a lot. We have a lot of it. We use a lot of tech. Now we're getting a TV, and it's like 110 inches, and it's like a 12 million naira TV. And I'm like, wow, this is my life now.
Right. What do you do with those products? Like after?
No, we return them.
You return them, right? So you review and send back.
Yeah, we review and then send them back. So at least I'm so happy, like we get to see our mind, like, oh, this TV, we don't like this thing in this place. And yeah, just like, fine, whatever, just do what you want to do. And people watch those and they like them. And yeah.
So, are you enjoying the conversation?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I just hope I'm saying...
No, you're saying great stuff. You're saying great. You know what, do you remember the first time that a brand reached out to you? Like very first time? I know you mentioned that you had reached out. You mentioned the brand you had reached out to, but do you remember the first time that a brand reached out to you and took your work seriously?
ARM, they had a product called Payday. So they reached out. And it was, am I allowed to say the amount? I was like, I'm not going to say the amount. But it was fun. It was not much. But, I picked up a check and I was like, oh, this is nice.
You paid with a check?
Yes, it was with a check. It was fun.
What was that moment? Like, what was that shift for you? What did that moment do for you? Did it change anything for you?
This is very interesting. I think it was nice to know that. I guess I don't know. I'm an influencer now, but I don't know. People always they don't like that title. Oh, influencer sounds. But it was cool. I think just thinking about it, I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing. It was nice.
You're laughing because you're making a lot more money now. So you're like, he's flashing back to the check and he's looking at the check and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this was exciting.
No, that's not. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Humble beginnings.
But I remember we did that video. I was at a tech event and I think I remember somebody saying, oh, do you think people are going to really watch tech videos, in Nigeria? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I had 1,000 subscribers or something like that. Sorry. Yeah, it was cool.
What a journey you've had, honestly.
Yeah. You know what, I'm going to jump off and just say, so on your journey now, right, what is... I don't want to ask you for the specific number, but how many zeros are we talking about in terms of the most that you're making from, because this is important because a lot of people think that creators don't make money, you know? A lot of families also don't want their kids to jump into being a creator or even doing content because it's like, oh no, I don't think there's anything in it. So if you had to give us like a range,
so
what are you talking about?
I don't know how much I'll possibly make every year, I think, but
You've talked about some of this stuff on YouTube.
When my tax person was helping and we're like trying to pay taxes, I think there will be a point where when you're going to pay your taxes, you'll pass a threshold that you now start to pay CIT. Mm-hmm. So we did pass that threshold. There's a minimum number of 50 million naira. Anyway.
So you've given the numbers.
No, that's the minimum number. Yeah. For like, when it comes to YouTube, they pay you based on views. And when I was mentioning stuff about finance videos, the CPM or the RPM is the revenue per mil. Mil is 1,000. So revenue per 1,000 views, this can differ a lot. For like tech videos, it's not so much. Maybe because if you go on YouTube, the kind of things that Nigerians watch is movies or like comedy. Actually, I know. I did a thing where I sat down and I was writing everything out one by one. I don't know why I do these things, but the 33% of the top 100 in Nigeria is comedy, then music, the next 33, then the next, I think 10 is like movies.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Movies and lifestyle.
So like the music is like gospel music and the secular music, and then movies, then comedies, then it's those entertaining stuff essentially takes up like 99%. And then there's the rest of us that have to battle with the other, and lifestyle and the other stuff. So tech videos are not necessarily like the highest when it comes to CPMs or RPMs, but it's good enough. Just maybe get enough views to be able to break even. For finance though, we have a video with like a $18 CPM. $18 CPM is $18 per 1,000 views. And the video has almost 1 million views, so like 18,000 on a single video. And then we had another video that had a similar number. We had a video with $22 per 1,000 views. We had a region that had like $36 per 1,000 views. But imagine those numbers, and then imagine like tech is like $1 or $2. $2 per 1,000 views. So, like I said, we stopped making finance videos, even though they are massively profitable. But for me, it was just like value above everything else. But truly, you can make a living and do the most with content. I think you just really have to be intentional, and it has to be valuable. Like it's like a cliche at this point. So it's like, you really, really want to think about like what people are going to benefit from this thing they're making. And it can be anything. Like I said, if it's a comedy skit or if it's a movie even, like what are people gaining or getting from this? How am I changing their feelings? And that's above everything.
What do you feel though that you wish more people understood about the business side of creating? And something that, you also learned as you went along.
So there's two sides. Not two, there's multiple sides. You can actually earn revenue from ads like on YouTube, or work with brands, or you can sell something, or you can do affiliate revenue, which is put a link in the description, people buy the stuff. I know Oraimo is a tech, they do those, and people do earn a lot. Like people earn like 500K a month or more from affiliate, and that's amazing. From referring people to buy products, you get a small commission. So I think like what I'll say is, do not come into this space solely because of the money. Oh my God, I'm going to say it again. Think of the value first, but the money would come. But when it comes to working with brands, the first thing is you want to start making the kind of videos that the brands can imagine themselves fitting into this thing already. If no brand is coming, that is still fine. But you started this thing for a reason, and you've probably seen other people that have succeeded in similar or adjacent fields. How did they do it? You can look at their caption. You know it's sponsored content. Oh, subscribe to this thing or click the link in the bio or whatever. Look at what they did there and say, okay, this is how they did this thing. How can I maybe think of this brand working with me in this certain way? And you can make it something similar. You don't have to promote something. You don't have to say anything positive about something that you don't believe in. And for us, we will never, ever talk about a brand that we would not use ourselves. I just would not talk about a brand that I wouldn't use personally because there's no point. It's like, why would I talk about something and I'm not using the product? It's just somehow. I think that's something people should do. Not everybody has the luxury of doing that. People want to make a living because you've invested so much in content, and if it's not making sense, it's not making sense. But you really want to earn a living doing this. The next thing is maybe don't quit your job to do content. You can keep your job, but you can try content on like the hours that are not your employer's hours. Try this thing, see where it goes, experiment, learn, read about this industry or whatever it is that you're exploring. The third thing I said about personal branding is actually there's also a book, Ignore Everybody. You really want to be able to earn a living as a creative. The last thing you want to be is a broke creative. Because creative people, we have ideas. And then what do you mean there's no money to
fund the idea?
To fund the idea. Like, that is the worst
to be able to fund the idea.
Place to be in. Like having ideas and not being able to pursue those ideas, like is the absolute worst place to be in as a creative person. But you want to be able to earn a living doing what you love, or earn a living and be able to do what you love. So like you need to have...
Like you're literally driving and then you're like, I'm talking about you. Like you're literally driving and you're like, oh man, I have this idea. And you just know that you can park your car, jump into the studio and create.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about, when am I going to start? How am I going to fund?
That's something that you want to avoid that as much as possible. So, because it's an expensive hobby too. If it is a hobby for some, it can be expensive. Like travel creators especially, oh my God, Tayo, I don't know how you're doing it. Like you have to fly somewhere and make videos about the place. You don't even get to enjoy the trip. But you know, it's very rewarding. I know for sure. So
speaking of traveling, you know, how has being based in Nigeria felt like a disadvantage, or has it come with some sort of unexpected doors opening?
I think it has its own advantages because in a way it's twofold. I've had an opportunity where I was invited by, oh my God, I was supposed to meet the Prince
of Wales.
Prince of Wales,
yeah. We're invited to Omo, and I couldn't go because of visa.
You're talking about Prince William?
Yes.
Yeah, Prince of Wales. Yeah.
I couldn't go because of the visa. We had a meeting somewhere, and then we're like Africans, and then like the British people and Americans. And they're like, oh, we're coming to Africa for this thing. Big body invited us. Like, yeah, this will be amazing. These are the plans. Me, the African, cannot get a visa. Oh, I need a visa to move within Africa. But, oh, the British and they can easily come in here and just, you know. It's unfortunate, but that happens. I've had so many opportunities. I remember I was supposed to go to South Africa. Google invited me. This is Google inviting me. And then the response was, your name is not on the guest list. That's why we cannot give you the visa. And I'm like, this is I don't understand. Like,
you have an official invitation. Yeah.
You know, and this is so unclear. Like, I don't think that the reason I was denied is because my name was not on the guest list. I don't know what other sinister reason was. Anyway.
I mean, you're raising a good point because, like, it's incredible the constraints that African creators need to deal with.
Yeah. Especially even within Africa.
Within Africa.
There's no freedom, except maybe West Africa. There's no freedom of mobility. We cannot just go somewhere. And how are we supposed to foster trade or growth in this economy if we cannot even move? My friend and I, we did this thing where we went to 5 countries in Europe in 10 days. All we needed was one single visa, the Schengen visa, and we're able to move freely. And this is the way of life for these people in the European Union. They can move freely within Europe. And this is commerce. This is money flowing within the spaces. But oh my God, Africa. We have an African Union. We cannot even move within this place. Like, this is unfortunate.
Can you imagine?
I think Dangote said it on stage one time. I was right there in Rwanda. It was on stage and it was like, he needs more visas than somebody with a French passport to move within Africa.
There's the downsides and the frustrating sides, but what has been your proudest moment on this journey? Like where you were like, yeah.
The one I always talk about is just like getting to interview the Secretary of State. It's a man just like me. He's a human being. But there's something that the position has, that there's honor there. And just like maybe what it meant for me and for everyone that wants to create is that there's this Bible verse, it's like you stand before kings if you're diligent. I don't feel like I've made it or I'm anywhere yet, honestly. And I am absolutely not perfect at all. Like, there's just so much that I wish I could have done better. But at the same time, like, I look back and there's been so many things. Like, not just even Secretary of State, we got to talk to the Vice President of Technology Research and Society, the Senior VP of Technology Research and Society at Google. He reports directly to the CEO. And it was a very rare thing to even speak to him in the first place. And he was on the LinkedIn post and it was like, Fisayo, this was a very good conversation that we had. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. And he sends me a message again, DM me. I was like, if you need anything,
Let me know.
And it's like, oh gosh, this is so, this is
That's
so
beautiful.
weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't expect, but I think I'm just grateful. Honestly, just really, really grateful for everything. It's a dream job for him.
Dream job.
Yeah.
Dream job.
So we're in the process of, building this out ourselves. And as an OG, I know you said you feel like you've not made it, but that's your business.
OG before IG.
Exactly. Do you understand? And you're at 750K. Across platforms, you're in the millions. So if there were 3 YouTube commandments you could give us to grow our own channel as we're starting out, what would you tell us?
The thumbnail is like the biggest thing. If you check now, YouTube has increased the size of videos on web, at least. On mobile, it's still the same because there's only so much space.
What do you mean the size?
So if you go on youtube.com now, the size of the thumbnails are bigger now. I think they just want it to be more clickable. Like, the first thing is really, really, really the click. The next thing is the first 5 seconds. It's like, this is something beautiful about YouTube. On every other platform, we stumble upon the content. On YouTube, we intentionally click on the content. That's why I really love YouTube, because people that watch my videos, they actually chose to watch my videos. So on a platform like YouTube, people intentionally choose to watch. And this is one of the reasons why I really love YouTube. For those other platforms, because people stumble upon it, you have the burden of first 5 seconds. Let's see how we can keep these people here to make them watch the entirety of the video. For YouTube, it is, first of all, the thumbnail. We see this thumbnail, and we're like, this is nice. Then we look down at the title. The title has always been it. We then look down, and we're like, the title.
Am I interested?
Yes, am I? The thing is, it should actually pique curiosity. Is it a question? Is it something that makes people go, oh, wow, I wonder what this is about? And then I look at that, and I'm like, okay, click. You have sold them with those 2. Now you have the burden of saying, okay, the first 5 seconds, you need to give them the reason. Why should I actually care about this thing? Then the payoff is like, what should I expect in the end? If it is a tutorial video and you stumble upon it, you've always wanted to know about this thing. The reason why you click on that video is because you now want to learn about this thing. And you click on it and you tell me that, this thing, you sort of imagine this person thinking it to say, in the end of this video, you are going to learn how to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to show you 5 steps. I'm going to show you the easy way. I'm going to show you the hard way. Now you've prepared this person to be like, okay, I'm watching this video and I'm going to learn the easy way and the hard way. And I'm going to learn how to do the thing that you said you would teach them how to do in the end. And make sure you keep it in the end.
Right.
Keep it in the end, though. Because you really
so
want
retain that attention for...
These platforms are optimizing for watch time. So YouTube is a business. They want, the more people stay on YouTube, the more ads they watch, the more money they make, the more money creators make. YouTube takes 45%, creators keep 55%. So the more you keep people longer on the platform, aka watch time, the more people watch your stuff for longer, the more YouTube is like, oh, this is a good video, let's show more people this video. And that is the thing that really matters, the watch time. It's not the views, it's not anything else. It's how long people watch it. So you've done the job of the thumbnail, the title, people have clicked, you kept them in the first 5 seconds, you promised them the thing you are going to deliver, and then they watch
to the end.
So there's no, in the middle of the video, I think the other thing is, because of the attention span thing, you want to be able to make sure that the video is sort of snackable. So people should be able to watch in bits or in like phases, if it's a long video. Typically, YouTube videos that get monetized are like 7 minutes, 8 minutes plus. So in those 7 minutes, how is every minute counting? It can be a long stretch, but are you telling a story that is keeping people to watch until the end? And there's a reason why Nollywood films are on YouTube a lot now. People watch like
they watch
35 whole minutes straight. Yeah. That is insane.
Yeah.
God, I envy those people. I wish I was doing that. Yeah, like I'm stuck with the boring stuff of tech. Yeah. But yeah, people watch. Oh my God, thank you. It's not. So people watch that long, and YouTube is like, oh, this is good. Let's push it more and more and more. Yeah. And you see the videos that do well are the videos where people watch the longest, and you click them and you see the reason why. Yeah. So it's really just that watch time and those other elements. And if you're able to get those right, like consistently, I think.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll send you a consultancy check later. It won't be one of those checks that you just smile at and you're giggling and giggling. It's one of those ones where you're like, wow, see.
Yeah, we love all our guests, but this episode, this might change our lives.
Oh my God.
Fisayo, we're about to round up this conversation. We'll just have one final question for you. If you were given $100 and 1 year to build a YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers, what's your plan?
I will make a movie channel.
With $100? What kind of movie?
Tell us what the plan is.
I would do a Nigerian film of love in every word. You guys get the joke.
Yeah. Got it, 100%. But let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. Like, for anyone who's watching this, that is like, you know what, this is what I have $100 right now, and I want to start doing YouTube, and I want to get to X amount of subscribers. What do I need to do?
Well, if you have a phone and you have ideas, I think you're not going to maybe just use the $100 game, Mike.
That's like sound is a thing.
Okay, the Holyland Lark M2, I don't think is up to, I think it's $100 and something. So maybe borrow $50 extra and get that mic. The Holyland Lark M2. It's like a small circle. It's very good. I use it everywhere. Where I traveled recently, that's what I use. I've been using it. It's very, very good. Get a mic and have ideas and use your phone and just share. I feel like you can actually make even long form, but short form is like far easier to grow with. So you can make a short form video and just share a concept. So the way you think of it like this, if you're making a short form video now, you're like, okay, first 5 seconds, I'm going to promise this guy something. In between, in the middle of the video, maybe like 1 minute, I am sharing stuff that is leading to somewhere. And in the end, I give you the point. And none of it is a boring journey. It's just straight up facts, or straight up comedy, or straight up something inspiring or entertaining throughout that period. And I don't hate myself after I watch the thing I've watched. And then I like you enough to click your profile and I'm like, oh, let me see something else that you have done.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
So easy to buy a mic.
The summary is, if you're trying to create content, please prioritize sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people care about that. Thank you so much, Fisayo. It's been, as Salem said, it's just been a learning process for us as well. I've enjoyed listening to you, and I know like our viewers will 100% enjoy that.